General Zarek, leader of the Ashen forces, chuckled darkly as he observed the rebel stronghold on his view screen, envisioning the destruction his army would unleash upon them. Little did he know, Commander Alan Ross and his elite unit, the Silver Fangs, were prepared to unleash hell upon his unsuspecting soldiers. Alan Ross scowled as he reviewed the distress call from Vox, the rebel leader, his frustration boiling over as he punched the bulkhead of his cabin. The Ashen Empire had cornered the rebels, and Vox's plea for aid resonated deeply with Alan. Though outnumbered 50-1, Alan knew he couldn't abandon his debt to Vox, not after their years of camaraderie and shared battles. Addressing his men aboard the drop ship, Alan laid out their mission: to buy time for the rebels to evacuate while holding off the overwhelming Imperial forces. Despite the odds and the uncertain payout, Alan's loyalty to Vox and the camaraderie among the Silver Fangs ensured they would face the enemy head-on, knowing the Empire had underestimated the resilience of human fighters. Alan, now leading the charge, laughed in the face of overwhelming odds. With only 200 mercenaries against the Ashen Empire's 10,000 soldiers, he found amusement in their mistaken belief that sheer numbers could bury them. The drop ship echoed with cheers as Alan rallied his team, ready to make their stand against the Imperial onslaught. Addressing his comrades as the Wolves, Alan instilled a sense of determination and camaraderie, urging them to embrace the inevitable battle ahead. Despite the certainty of facing death, Alan's confidence in his unit's abilities remained unshaken. This mission, he knew, would be their legacy, a testament to the ferocity of human resilience against alien tyranny. As they descended upon Edo's Prime, Alan and his team swiftly formulated a plan with Vox, the rebel leader, to turn the terrain to their advantage. The rugged landscape provided the perfect setting for an ambush, and Alan wasted no time in deploying his forces strategically. With mines, charges, and auto-turrets rigged along the ravine, and hellhounds equipped with jump jets scaling the cliffs, Alan ensured that every inch of ground would be a death trap for the advancing Imperial army. But as the enemy approached, Alan's anticipation only grew. With a predator's grin, he welcomed the impending clash, knowing that the Silver Wolves would unleash hell upon their unsuspecting foes. With their drop ships concealed by stealth systems, they streaked over the arid landscape, ready to unleash their fury upon the Ashen Empire. Amidst the chatter, an Ashen general's crisp voice broke through the commotion, reporting the approach of two small drop ships towards the Khazra region. General Zoltran's mocking laughter resonated over the channel as he belittled the incoming vessels, dismissing them as insignificant reinforcements for the rebels' cause. The Ashen soldiers, echoing their leader's disdain, suggested diverting to intercept the ships, but Zoltran brushed off the idea, confident in the Empire's might. Meanwhile, aboard one of the drop ships, Alan, now leading the Silver Fangs, darkly chuckled as he prepared to unleash their trap. As the Ashen forces entered the pass, unaware of the impending onslaught, the valley erupted in chaos. The mercenary drop ships descended, disgorging assault vehicles, while hellhounds bounded up the cliffs, their heavy cannons raining death upon the unsuspecting enemy. Explosions tore through the Ashen formation as rockets and plasma fire found their marks, turning tanks into pillars of fire and shredding infantry with lethal precision. Mines detonated across the valley floor, swallowing entire squads in clouds of pulverized rock and flame, while autoguns planted by Ula and Zay unleashed storms of lethal darts, decimating the Imperial infantry. Amidst the chaos, discipline dissolved into panic as the Ashen soldiers found themselves ensnared in a hellscape of destruction, courtesy of the Silver Wolves' meticulously planned ambush. Multiple contacts on the scope, General, a crisp Ashen voice reported, noting two small drop ships descending towards the Khazra region. General Zalker's cruel laughter filled the channel as he mocked the incoming vessels, deriding them as mere scraps compared to the might of the Empire. Despite suggestions to intercept, Zalker dismissed the idea, focused on crushing the rebel stronghold. Meanwhile, Alan, now leading the Shadowhawks, smirked as he muted the comm, realizing the Ashen forces had walked right into their trap. As the Silver Fangs sprung their ambush, rockets and plasma fire tore through the Ashen formation, turning tanks into fiery wrecks and shredding infantry with lethal precision. As chaos engulfed the battlefield, General Zar, commanding from his tank, attempted to rally his troops, ordering elite power armor troopers to advance. But Alan had anticipated their move, directing Zara, his best sniper, to unleash hell upon the enemy forces. "Boss, with pleasure," the sniper purred, perched high above on an outcrop as her rifle cracked repeatedly, sending hypervelocity slugs through Ashen faceplates. Beside her, Kron and Jezik unleashed plasma fire and grenades upon the shock troops, disrupting their advance. Despite the enemy's renewed ferocity, the wolves held the high ground, turning the valley into a roaring pit of death. With Alan leading the charge, he vaulted into a hellhound, ready to deliver a decisive blow to the enemy's rear echelons. The trio of assault craft blazed over the ridge line, tearing through enemy supply lines and crippling their logistics. Meanwhile, in the rebel bunker, Vox watched in awe as the Silver Wolves fought with savage skill and fury, holding back the relentless tide of Ashen forces. As the battle raged on, Alan knew they couldn't hold forever. With dwindling supplies and overwhelming enemy numbers, they faced imminent danger of being overwhelmed. Desperate to buy the rebels more time, Alan barked orders to hold the line, even as ammunition ran dangerously low and casualties mounted. Amidst the chaos, an Ashen artillery shell struck one of the wolf positions, causing screams of agony over the calm. With the eastern barricade breached and Zahler's command tank looming ominously, Alan knew they were at a tipping point. He ordered a retreat to secondary positions, determined to fight another day against the seemingly unstoppable Ashen onslaught. "Smoke! Miserable earth scum!" Zarek bellowed, his voice amplified by the tank's loudspeakers. "Did you really think your pathetic band could stand against the might of the Empire? I will grind your bones to dust." Alan, consumed by rage, snarled as a red haze descended over his vision. Snatching a plasma lance from a fallen shock trooper, he charged toward Zahler, dodging the tank's fire. With a roar, Alan leaped, jets flaring from his boots as he soared over Zarek's tank, evading the general's point-blank shot. Landing on the tank's hull, Alan confronted Zarek face to face. Without hesitation, he thrust the lance into Zarek's chest, puncturing the armor in a spray of molten metal and boiling blood. Despite his injuries, Alan defiantly declared the strength of the Silver Wolves, never backing down even in the face of overwhelming odds. As Zarek convulsed and fell, Alan raised the lance high, bringing it down with all his might on the tank's reactor housing. The resulting explosion engulfed the valley in a blinding flash and a deafening roar, leaving Alan battered and deafened but triumphant. Struggling to his feet, Alan keyed his comm, ordering Mox and Gia to activate the EMP burst from the dropship above. With a deafening crack, the burst washed over the valley, incapacitating the Ashen forces as their weapons, sensors, and armor systems were fried by the electromagnetic pulse. In an instant, the relentless advance of the Adosi had transformed into a chaotic frenzy of panic and confusion. Seizing the opportunity, Vox, with a resounding battle cry, led his troops out of the bunker tunnels, descending upon the disoriented invaders with ferocious close-quarter savagery. Alan, despite his injuries, joined the fray, picking up a discarded rifle and limping forward, surrounded by his fellow Silver Wolves, all bloodied and battered yet hungry for revenge. Amidst the smoke and carnage of the Khazra Pass, medics rushed to aid the wounded, while soldiers mourned the fallen and salvaged what remained of their shattered equipment. Alan, his arm blackened and warped from plasma burns, pushed through the pain, determined to ensure the well-being of his comrades. As they took stock of their losses, the grim reality of the cost of victory settled upon them. Despite the temporary triumph, Vox's revelation of the Adian Emperor's declaration of total war cast a shadow over their celebrations. The prospect of facing the Grand Armada, with its overwhelming force, loomed ominously. Alan knew that their battered forces stood little chance against such overwhelming odds, but the thought of abandoning the innocent civilians to the Empire's wrath spurred him to defiance. Rejecting Vox's offer of evacuation, Alan rallied his troops, refusing to back down in the face of tyranny. With unwavering resolve, he vowed to stand firm against the Empire, ready to face whatever horrors they unleashed upon them. As his fellow soldiers echoed their commitment to the cause, Alan raised his fist defiantly, prepared to meet their adversaries head-on and fight to the last. As if in response to the turmoil below, the sky shimmered and warped, heralding the arrival of a vast armada of ships dropping out of hyperspace. Each Emperor Leviathan bristled with enough firepower to lay waste to entire continents. The Empire had descended upon the battlefield, but the Silver Fangs stood ready to face them head-on, their determination unwavering. The scene fades to black, leaving the fate of Alan Rice and his band of Terran mercenaries, along with the Ashen Rebellion, uncertain. But amidst the uncertainty, one thing remains clear. The Empire will come to fear the day they crossed paths with Alan Rice and his legendary Silver Fangs. Their story will echo through the ages, whispered by freedom fighters and aliens alike. A legend forged in blood, defiance, and the indomitable will of the human spirit. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Leave a comment saying, "I like the story," and I'll heart every single one of them. Your support means a lot and helps the channel grow. Thank you for your time.